An end to the squishes. We resolve that religious dogma shall trump fuzzy science in our children's education. Human needs must simply shatter the costly fairy tales of wacko environmentalists. No longer shall we be constrained by habitat conservation for tiny owls and boreal toads. Wasteful oversight processes must be streamlined, sped up, or simply abandoned. Conservation shall rightly be viewed as the lifestyle choice of some silly fringe. Outside developers attaining local control will bring about the world we seek. Donor lobbyists shall enshrine self-regulation as the norm for all industry. Evolution is merely a shaky theory, and abortion is an important social issue. So-called climate change is a hoax drawn up by the lifestyle police. The liberal elite shall lose their awful control through media conglomeration. We must keep citizens safe from imported drugs manufactured in America. We make sound policy decisions based upon personal dialogues with our Savior. Patriotic, God-fearing citizens need not worry about domestic intelligence gathering. Accessibility means sharing the new mining roads in all of our national forests. It is wrong to count those who have given up searching as part of the jobless. Our so-called core rate of inflation is actually a reality-based statistic. Emergency response to disasters and to terrorism are two different tasks. We can enhance our security and economy by pumping all of our oil right now. Defense spending is sacrosanct, off the table, and must continually increase. God said marriage is a sacred union between a man and a woman. Period. Universal health care is a dead socialist pipe dream which failed many times long ago. Social Security reform is one of the most critical budgetary issues in the short term. The free market can provide a sustainable environmental and affordable health care. There is no purpose to showing our soldiers dying and coming home in boxes, so it's banned. Freedom and democracy can be spread through intimidation and invasion. Outsourcing jobs ultimately benefits all levels of our great society. Redistricting to attain a political control is part of our democratic heritage. Small cars are dangerous, cheap, uncomfortable, weak, and unwanted. Cutting taxes while increasing spending is sound conservative economic policy. Pruning industries by encouraging cheap imports enhances consumer affordability. Top leaders should talk with their savior and not read the newspapers. Our puppet state should maintain a sound separation between church and state. Big Ag taste tests indicate no benefit from organically produced foods, and they are too expensive. The right to make noise is enshrined in the Constitution, but privacy is not. Economic development is independent of the biosphere in which it occurs. We must continually remind God to bless this land whenever speaking to the public. Plastic decals on our imported cars are honest displays of our patriotism. The right to gas-powered recreation on public lands shall not be infringed. We can prevent forest fires by bringing in logging firms to clear-cut the big trees. Urban planning is anathema to economic growth, job creation, and happy families. The No Net Loss of Wetlands initiative is a fine example of good government policy. Free market elections mean the recipient of the most donations wins office. The decline of amphibians and songbirds has no place in domestic policy. The operations of our federal parks should be turned over to entrepreneurs. The struggle in Iraq has always been intimately linked to a war on terrorism. Misguided zealots would have us shivering in dark homes, eating cold oatmeal. Man was created less than 10,000 years ago, apart and above all of the animals. Economies of scale are appropriate for all manner of societal activity. Gun control is wrong as long as the military maintains its overwhelming superiority. That evil weed is rightly the number one enemy in the holy war against all drugs. SUVs and pickups should remain exempt from emissions and mileage regulations. We flatly reject international treaties on women's rights, landmines, and chemical weapons. Providing birth control to third world countries is against our moral values. Homosexuality is simply a sinful lifestyle choice that requires a faith-based healing. Globalization will increase everyone's standard of living. Professional sports are an integral part of the very fabric of our society. Old Europe holds no lessons and provides no new ideas useful to us. All or nothing omnibus spending bills nourish the democratic process. The government should get out of the business of habitat preservation. Building prison works more economically than community intervention. Government-funded scientific results should be edited for political purposes. Energy independence does not require some silly moon landing type effort. A twangy, macho, evangelical pitch wins the vote of the growing under crust. Issues are best addressed by simply staying on short and catchy messages. Should minorities become disenchanted with voting, they can then be totally ignored. The secret gathering of private information is a proper governmental strategy. Anything short of your unequivocal support amounts to a cowardly treason. Loyalty is more important than competence in our subordinates. A smoggy Grand Canyon is but a small price to pay to air-condition Las Vegas. As a chosen people, we alone shall execute a policy of exceptionalism. The Homeland Security Bureau reflects our small government philosophy. Multi-generational poverty can be corrected by tax cuts for the very richest. Manufacturers bear no responsibility for packaging materials or worn-out products. Multinational conglomerates have our citizens' best interests in their hearts. If free trade brought some alien snail which killed all the ash trees, who really cares? Social Darwinism is a tacitly accepted part of God's mysterious plan for us all. Drinking, smoking, and gambling are legal, but prostitution is a sinful crime. GDP figures are a quite realistic indicator of our nation's economic well-being. We can tout math and science teaching even as we belittle and ignore scientists. Getting more from less is a symptom of weakness and is likely effeminate. Environmental standards need to be reviewed in light of our energy needs. Biodegradable petroleum-based fast food wrappers are our type of litter solution. Leave the chemical and electric plants unguarded, but employ a Star Wars missile defense. What have those starving polar bears really ever done for our country anyway? New suburbs and strip malls are sure signs of a prosperous and growing nation. Lobbyists and influence peddlers are respected players in the political process. Huge SUVs and brand new McMansions epitomize the American dream. Liberals are skinny, pasty, yellow crybabies whining in shorts and sandals with socks. It would be contrary to God's law to require jobs, training, and a license to have a child. Planning for our children's future is best accomplished through quarterly sales forecasting. We should look first to God's teaching with regards to the moral use of human embryos. Drive-through fast food restaurants save us time, which we can use later to enrich our lives. Social programs are inherently wasteful and foolish, and really, they all should be abolished. The government, however, can manage massive military spending efficiently and honestly. We can proceed with absolute certainty once we have spoken with our personal Savior. Our government simply does not outsource kidnapping, imprisonment, torture, or abuse. A leveling of the economic playing field will result in increased prosperity for us all. Farm subsidies to agribusiness are a wise and efficient use of our tax dollars. Activist judges have subverted the Constitution and the will of the people. Ronald Reagan was certainly one of the greatest of all the American presidents. Oil companies work hard to record profits, especially when speculation skyrockets prices. The government has no role to play in protecting threatened species. The sale of subsidized armaments is a good way to promote world peace. The liberation of the Iraqi people has nothing to do with their oil reserves. Profitably exporting our newfound energy independence will be good for us all. Our system and values provide a model which we should be proud to export across the world. The vast liberal media warps our accomplishments by focusing solely on bad news. Unattributed government press releases provide for a more balanced assessment. Career politicians know how to get things accomplished down there in Washington. Flag burning, abortion, and marriage amendments are properly very high on our list of priorities. The 10 Commandments are actually the basis of our religious freedom and government. Traitors and whiny second-guessers only serve to put our brave troops at risk. We must not let the sacrifices made for our colossal blunders even appear to be in vain. Man-made areas such as swimming pools can be factored into our known net loss of wetlands calculations. Crafting our energy policy is best done in secret by that industry's leaders. We must build new infrastructure and provide free health care to Iraqis, but not Americans. The metastasis of Walmart is acceptable, but stem cell research is immoral. It is good practice to hire marketing firms for the ongoing cultural wars. Tacitly allowing illegal workers to slave for nothing is advantageous for our country. The people should trust us in the covert actions the government takes on their behalf. Climate change, though likely a fictitious scam, should be reacted to, but not even planned for. A close and personal relationship with God helps us fight against those Middle East religious fanatics.